Hi and welcome to this week's Halloween inspired Woohoo Wednesday. If you have chosen symbol number 5, which is the coffin, or it may not have been the coffin that you were attracted to, it may have been the cross. This is your divine soulful message. You have got the card of spiritual being. So the message at the bottom says, I give permission to honor my spiritual essence and celebrate my spiritual journey. The message that comes through is that tug of war between ego of the human self and our spiritual essence within our own self. You have the intuitive inner knowingness to know exactly the steps and the directions and the actions and the behaviors that you are wanting to install and implement and follow forward with. But the human part and the ego is coming forward and is creating resistance and wanting old patterns to come back. And you're in this tug of war within your own self. The beautiful message that comes through with this week is to just surrender to the need to control this current situation. Whatever is going on for you at this point, I'm just going to share a bit of an example. Say you've got an old pattern of wanting to control everything, and it's surfacing all the time, and it's just coming at you from every direction, and usually not in a great way. Like, we start to recognize these old patterns through situations that get presented to us that trigger off those patterns and cycles that are not conducive to your growth. Now, rather than fighting with trying to simmer it down, trying to then control your own self and your own emotions, honor it. Really step into that space of embodying that spiritual element within yourself, because the spiritual aspect within your own self has no judgment. It sits there and makes that commitment of being able to say to that human part within itself that I honor that this old pattern and cycle is coming up to the surface, but I am going to continue along the journey that I know that allows me to explore and celebrate my spiritual essence, because I know that this is part of my journey. And the less that you get into the fight, the moment the game doesn't actually even exist, because you're embracing and surrendering those old patterns and cycles. Now, this is a beautiful gift that has been brought into your awareness to give you that opportunity to make that decision that, hey, I choose that this is not the way that I wish to experience the situation. And in order to break these cycles, it comes through that commitment of making that conscious choice of that inner knowingness that you know that there are different, better ways that are more conducive to honoring that spiritual essence within your own self. You may find that you are taking time to connect in with lots of different spiritual practices that deeply resonate with you. If so, continue doing them. They will help you break through this time. This spiritual element, and I'm going to share my belief here and in the hope that it may resonate with you. Spirituality for me was never about all the spiritual practices and the tools. That was one component of this spiritual journey. But the other part was that spiritual connection, to understand that I am a spiritual being and that I get to connect into that spiritual aspect that has a much deeper understanding and has the capacity to step back from my triggers and recognize the bigger picture of why this situation has been brought into my current reality, and know that I have access to this infinite wisdom available from our soul and universe to help guide us every single step of the way. So staying connected and listening and feeling into those intuitive cues that are guiding you along this time. Now, those are the types of things that are coming in, which means that you'll be having this, you'll sort of feel like a little bit of a, not going to say a crazy person, but you'll be feeling like, you know, how do I shift this around? So you want to be able to honor that human part within yourself, but surrender the need to control it or conform it into something more than what it is, because the more that you try and control it, the more you're giving it more focus, means you're giving it more energy, means that it then has hold of you. Therefore, the fight comes up. The spiritual part goes, I recognize this, but I make that commitment that I choose to not engage in being triggered, but give blessings for this opportunity to break through this. And I'm going to focus my attention on this way. And the more that I give focus, the more the ego self dies, because there's no fight, which means that I am growing and evolving. So it is such a beautiful, beautiful time for you right at this point. So I love how it's almost, it completely connects in with the coffin or the cross. It's the death of the ego. And that is exactly what is happening for yourself. So remember, do not get into a fight with it, because this is when it has hold of you. Choose to understand the experience, but make that conscious choice on how it is that you want to be able to move through this time, and know that the more that you continue to focus on the direction that you're going on and honoring that spiritual element within your own self, the more the ego dies. So I wish you an incredibly amazing week ahead. Much love to you. And if you're a Halloween buff like myself, I hope you have a fabulous Halloween evening on October the 31st. And don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know how this resonates with you, and or click the button to subscribe to receive even more info that gets sent through. Otherwise, take care, much love, and have a fabulous week.